Every single Pokemon in the world follows one unbreakable rule. They live inside a Pokeball. It does not matter if you are a literal god of time or a tiny green caterpillar. When the red beam hits, you go inside. But there is one glaring anomaly in the entire anime universe. A yellow electric mouse that violently rejects the very foundation of Pokemon training. For decades, fans thought Ash just had a stubborn partner. Or maybe it was just a cute marketing gimmick to keep the mascot on screen. But the truth is much deeper. Pikachu refuses to go into a Pokeball because it views that tiny sphere as a literal prison. It is a deep psychological trauma born in the hidden corners of Professor Oak Laboratory. Today, we are uncovering the hidden psychology behind the most famous refusal in anime history. Let us start by looking at the universal standard of the Pokemon world. The Pokeball is the great equalizer of this universe. In the anime, these devices are described as highly comfortable environments. They convert living matter into pure energy. They create a simulated space tailored to the specific creature resting inside. We see Pokemon willingly recall themselves to rest all the time. They recover their strength inside. They sleep safely while their trainer travels through dangerous storms or freezing blizzards. The ball is meant to be a sanctuary. It is a home away from home. When a Pokemon is captured, it forms an instant bond of subordination to the trainer holding that sphere. The trainer is the absolute master. The Pokemon is the loyal companion. It is a strict hierarchy built directly into the very technology of the world. Every trainer from novice to champion relies on this system. But Pikachu shatters this hierarchy the exact moment it appears on screen. When Ash first receives his starter, Pikachu is already outside the ball. It refuses to go back in. When Ash tries to recall it, Pikachu literally swats the Pokeball back at him like a baseball. It hits Ash right in the face. This is not playful defiance. This is aggressive rejection. Pikachu is actively fighting against the system that governs its entire species. To understand why, we have to look at what happened before Ash ever woke up late on his 10th birthday. Pikachu was not always a cynical electric mouse. It was not a wild Pokemon wandering the tall grass of Pallet Town waiting to be caught. It was property. It belonged to Professor Oak. It lived its life confined inside his laboratory. But unlike the traditional starters Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, who were kept ready and eager for new trainers, Pikachu was an outcast. It was a problem child. We know from later flashbacks in the anime that Pikachu actually lived in the wild as a Pichu. It had a family. It had absolute freedom. It was adopted by a wild Kangaskhan and roamed the open forests. It experienced the beauty of nature without any human interference. It rode in the pouch of its adoptive mother and saw the world. Then eventually it evolved. It realized it was getting too heavy for the mother to carry. It left its found family on a rainy night to venture out on its own. And somehow, after leaving its adoptive family, it ended up captured and confined to a sterile laboratory. Think about the stark psychological contrast. Going from the boundless freedom of the forest to the tight confined space of a Pokeball on a dusty metal shelf. For Pikachu, being captured meant being forcefully stripped of its agency. In the laboratory, it was just another specimen for research. It was kept inside that tiny dark sphere until a human decided it was allowed to come out. There was no partnership. There was only forced confinement. The Pokeball was not a sanctuary for Pikachu. It was a cage. It was a constant painful reminder that its freedom had been taken away. Every time the red beam pulled it back inside, it felt like a heavy door slamming shut on a prison cell. That is why Pikachu was so incredibly hostile when Ash first met it. It was lashing out at its captors. It was defending the tiny bit of freedom it had left. It refused to be locked away in the dark ever again. This brings us to the core psychology of this electric mouse. Pikachu did not just hate the ball itself, it hated what the ball represented in human society. The Pokeball represents a master and pet relationship. The human walks in the warm sun. The human eats warm food. The human decides the destination and the schedule. The Pokemon sits in the dark waiting to be summoned for battle. Pikachu absolutely refused to accept those terms. It demanded to be treated as an equal partner. If the human is walking, Pikachu is walking. If the human is facing danger, Pikachu is facing danger. It wanted to breathe the same air and see the exact same sights. It wanted a life. It wanted to feel the wind and the rain. It refused to be a tool that was only brought out when a human needed to win a fight. It wanted to be a living, breathing companion with its own voice and its own choices. We see this volatile dynamic play out immediately in the first episode. Pikachu literally shocks Ash to establish dominance right out of the gate. It fries Ash and Professor Oak and the entire crowd of onlookers. It forces Ash to drag it along the dirt road tied to a clothesline while wearing rubber gloves. The sheer indignity of the situation is intentional. Pikachu is testing Ash. It is pushing the boundaries to see if this new loud human is just another warden or if he is actually worthy of respect. Ash tries everything to act like a traditional master trainer. He throws the Pokeball over and over. He commands Pikachu to fight a wild Pidgey. He demands immediate obedience, and Pikachu just laughs at him. Pikachu climbs a tall tree and watches Ash make a fool of himself. It watches Ash throw his clothes over a bird and get pecked in the face. Because as long as Ash acts like a master, Pikachu will constantly rebel. True partnership cannot exist when one person holds the key to the other's cage. Pikachu was waiting for a human who would actually understand that fundamental truth. The situation escalates into a disaster on Route 1. Ash gets frustrated and tries to catch a wild Pokemon by throwing a rock. He accidentally hits a wild Spearow. The Spearow is furious. It ignores Ash and attacks Pikachu instead because wild Pokemon harbor resentment for captured Pokemon. Pikachu defends itself by shocking the bird with a powerful attack, but Spearow are flock animals. They call for backup. The singular shriek echoes across the forest. Suddenly the sky grows dark. A massive flock of angry Spearow descends upon them. The birds have glowing red eyes and razor-sharp beaks. This is the moment that defines the entire 25-year run of the anime. Ash and Pikachu are running for their lives. They are battered. They are bruised. They jump into a rushing river to escape the relentless diving attacks. They are swept down the dangerous rapids and nearly drown. They are eventually pulled out by a young girl fishing on the bank, but the danger is far from over. The Spearow flock is still hunting them. They are diving down from the stormy sky. They are out for blood. The rain is pouring down in heavy sheets. The wind is howling. The thunder is crashing loudly. Ash steals a bicycle and pedals furiously into the storm with Pikachu in the basket, but the terrain is too rough. They crash heavily into the mud. Pikachu is severely injured from the attacks and the crash. It is covered in mud and gasping for breath. It can barely move a single muscle. The electric sacs on its cheeks are sparking weakly. This is the ultimate test of their relationship. The Spearow are swarming above them, forming a dark tornado of feathers and sharp talons. A traditional trainer would just recall the Pokemon to save it. They would put the Pokemon back in the ball and run away to save their own life. The ball is designed exactly for this type of emergency recall. It is the safest option, and Ash does exactly that. He pulls out the Pokeball with a shaking hand. He places it on the muddy ground right in front of the injured Pikachu. The button expands. The red and white sphere gleams in the lightning, but pay very close attention to what Ash says and how he acts in this critical scene. He does not command Pikachu to go inside as a master. He begs Pikachu to go inside as a friend. Ash says he knows Pikachu hates going in the ball. He validates those feelings out loud. He acknowledges the trauma. But he also knows that inside the ball Pikachu will be perfectly safe from the vicious bird attack. Ash is offering the Pokeball not as a cage, but as a protective shield. He is giving Pikachu a choice for the very first time in its life. He is surrendering his control as a master. Then Ash does the unthinkable. He turns his back on Pikachu. He stands up in the mud. He faces the massive flock of aggressive Spearow entirely alone. He spreads his arms wide and screams at the birds to attack him instead. He tells them he is Ash from Pallet Town and he will defeat them all. He yells that he is going to be the greatest Pokemon master in the world. He offers his own life to protect his wounded Pokemon. He stands defenseless against a swarm of monsters. In this single beautiful moment, Ash shatters the traditional hierarchy of the Pokemon world. He proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he does not view Pikachu as a pet or a mere tool for battle. He views Pikachu as an equal partner whose life is just as valuable as his own. He is willing to take the fatal hit so Pikachu does not have to suffer anymore. He is willing to die for a creature that has done nothing but shock him and mock him all day. Pikachu opens its tired eyes and watches this young boy step into the path of certain destruction. It sees a human who is finally willing to share the pain. A human who does not hide behind a Pokeball when things get incredibly dangerous. A human who sacrifices himself without hesitation. Pikachu suddenly understands that Ash is different from the researchers at the laboratory. Ash is not a warden. Ash is a protector, so Pikachu makes a definitive choice. It refuses the safety of the Pokeball. It refuses to let its brave partner stand alone against the storm. Pikachu summons every last ounce of strength it has left in its battered body. It leaps right off the muddy ground and onto Ash's shoulder. It jumps high into the air facing the massive flock. It absorbs a massive bolt of natural lightning directly from the stormy sky above. The energy charges its body to the absolute limit. It releases a devastating electric attack that wipes out the entire flock of Spearow in one massive blinding explosion. The explosion lights up the entire forest sky. The shockwave blows everything away. Ash and Pikachu both fall to the blackened ground together. They are unconscious, but they survive the ordeal together. When the storm finally clears and the warm sun rises, they are lying side by side on the dirt. They wake up and look at each other. They see a legendary shimmering bird flying across a beautiful rainbow in the distance. But more importantly, they see each other differently. The dynamic has shifted. From that day forward, the Pokeball is never an issue again. Pikachu never goes inside because it never needs to. The trust is absolute. The equality is proven and cemented forever. Ash never forces Pikachu into the ball because he deeply respects its trauma and its intense desire for freedom. He knows that forcing Pikachu into confinement would break the bond they forged in the mud that day. They walk side by side through every single region and every single Pokemon League. They share food, they share beds, they share victories and defeats. They face legendary gods and evil villain organizations not as master and monster but as true best friends. The empty Pokeball sits unused in Ash's backpack for years as a constant quiet reminder of the day they chose each other over the system. The strict system of capture and confinement was broken by a kid from Pallet Town who just wanted to protect his friend. They built a legacy on mutual respect instead of digital captivity. They proved that true power comes from walking the exact same path together. If you want to uncover more massive psychological mysteries of the Pokemon world, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a video.